Goodness. I had a YouTube in my ear. All right. Well, I have a guest on the screen already. I didn't mean to click on that, but hey, that's all right. Everybody say hello to our guest, Hope Arising. Welcome, Hope.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And welcome to Hang Out with Joshua Cummins. This is episode 0, so that you know that it's the very, very, very first time that we're doing this. Uh, the idea behind doing this show is to just simply hang out and get to know the individual and put a spotlight on every guest that comes on here. So um, you're going to hear me talk for a little while, but the majority of this show, outside of me asking questions, is going to be Hope just telling you all about her and everything that she's working on, her childhood, everything. We want to know everything. So before we do, I just want to remind you guys that you are watching something on a network. This hangout is as part of Revolver Broadcasting, and if you want to check out everything Revolver Broadcasting, the network that is for your entertainment, for your education, for your news, for your pure joy, well, then go to our website, revolverbroadcasting.com, and check out all of our shows in one place, with the exception of this one, because I haven't uploaded it yet, obviously. It's brand new, right? But if you go there, this is what you'll see, revolverbroadcasting.com, and you'll see that if you hover over podcasts, you'll see all of our shows in one place. Um, I know that a majority of our viewers and listeners like Morning Word, and so if you were to scroll down, you can also see the shows there. And you just click on the listen here button, and you get to see any and all episodes that have been uploaded, even sometimes live, straight from the website. So, you can do that. You can also visit our news chambers, where you'll see daily devotionals that have been written by our good friend Danny Tippett. He's got some amazing in-depth daily devotionals. If you're a person of faith and you really want to just kind of get involved in some really deep concepts of people of faith and what these different things mean to you. He gets into some subjects that you just won't hear at church. I'm telling you guys. So go over there to revolverbroadcasting.com, check out those daily devotionals and comment on those, because he loves to have feedback. It helps him build even better devotionals for you guys. We also have news stories, assertions, and even a prayer list. So if you want some prayer done for you, just scroll to the bottom of our webpage, at any page on our webpage, and you can fill out our email form. Those emails come directly to me, and we'll get you on the prayer list. And hey, if you have a praise report and you're already on the prayer list, email me again so that we can pull you off. But we do have 30 plus people that message me every single day to let me know that they are praying. So I think it's just wonderful to have. You can also check out our shop, where you'll see you can shop like a hot shot. You can buy all kinds of Revolver Broadcasting branded things, Trump Vance things, Christ is King things. All of our shows have their own line of T-shirts and hats and mugs and all the fancy threads. One of my personal favorites is underneath the Revolver Broadcasting brand. We have the Revolver Broadcasting hoodie. So sleek. I love it. I think it's dope. Let me see if I can get this back over here to the main website. And also, we also have the Friends with a Revolver tab if you're on our website. And if you click on that, you get to see all the people that have been a part of the journey of Revolver Broadcasting, and where it has began and where it is now. All these people have been integral in making Revolver Broadcasting the network that it is. So please get over there and check out the website. Now, on with the show, right? Making sure that we're liking the content, commenting on the content, subscribed or following, depending upon the platform that you're viewing or listening on, and sharing the content, because sharing is in fact caring. All right, Hope.
Okay.
My first question has to be, what brought you upon the name Hope Arising specifically?
Okay. So I started out as many different YouTube names. First one I think was Marielle. I've been Daydream Believer. Um, I've changed it a lot, but Hope Arising has stuck, and it's from the song, the Christian song, "Up from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated. The King is alive." So that's where I got my name.
Nice. Okay, so I'm going to go with some maybe they can be rapid fire questions, but if you want to expand on why, go ahead and go with that. But first one's real simple, real easy.
Okay.
What's your favorite color?
I like green and purple, orange and teal are my favorites.
Green and purple, orange and teal.
Mm-hmm. My couch is teal, if you can see back there.
Yeah. Very like, yeah, it's like almost psychedelic colors. Those are pretty great.
I do like bright colors, so that all fits.
Yeah, I think those are like, yeah, very groovy. Yeah. Let's see here. And then the next question be, what would be your favorite book?
My favorite book is called Warriors Don't Cry. It's by Melba Pattillo Beals. It's about the integration of Little Rock High School in the 1950s. And Melba Pattillo Beals was one of the Little Rock Nine who integrated, and it's her story.
Oh, cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like a proponent of change, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good change. Okay. And then, and that book stuck out you because of because of it being a heartwarming story or the
it's an incredible story that she tells. She had acid thrown on her. She had paper that was set on fire and then thrown at her. And then she had people who befriended her, people who didn't befriend her, obviously. But just her story and what she went through and what people had to endure. I mean, she was like 16 years old and she was enduring this, all because of, past history and everything.
So you like stories of grit, sounds like.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I like I'm a history major, so I love historical things like that.
Okay. And then, so another easy one, favorite animal. I already know the answer, but for the folks out there.
Well, you expect me to say something, but it's not going to be what you expect.
Okay.
I do have a few favorite animals, one of them being turtles, another one being manatees, and I love hippos as well. And I know that's what you're expecting me to say.
You were telling some really great hippo facts when we were on Eddie's podcast, and I was just like, man, she really knows a lot about hippos. This must be like the number one animal that she loves.
I love it's aquatic animals basically that I love.
Got it.
Yeah.
And is there something that drew you to them more than the others, or?
I don't know. Like manatees are just such gentle giants. Like, speaking of history, they thought they were mermaids in the past, and they're just giant sea cows, and they're just so gentle, and you can't really harm a flea. But and then hippos are the most dangerous animal in Africa, so.
Yeah, I find that interesting too, because I was thinking about hippos earlier. I was just like, they look so cuddly, right?
They do.
It's like you think about like my dogs. I like to squish their face and love on them. Right. And you can't do that with a hippo.
No.
It'd be like trying to love on a grizzly. It's not going to happen.
Pretty much, unless they're small, then they're like cute and cuddly, I guess.
For a time, then. I guess.
Yeah, right. Till they get to be about 2,000 pounds, like a manatee.
Okay, so what would be your favorite movie?
Apollo 13.
Apollo 13. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. I have loved learning about Apollo 13. I went down to the Kennedy Space Center a long time ago, Cape Canaveral. I love watching the commentaries on DVDs, and there was one with Jim Lovell and Marilyn Lovell, and as well as Ron Howard on that DVD. And it's just so interesting to know how they made it and how people, interacted with the film. And people from NASA actually thought that they had film from Apollo 13 lifting off. I'm like, no, that was recreated because it was so realistic to people.
Yeah, that's a great film. That was a
Yeah.
great film. I can still remember when I seen it in the theater. Yeah, I can see why you'd pick that one. That's really
Yeah.
good.
And then, like, I always think of, like, what if Ken Mattingly didn't, well, what if he went up, if he wasn't scratched from the program, and then what would have happened on the ground? Because he was the one that basically found a way home for them.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's almost like God worked it out, right?
Right.
Yep. It's not. I can't even say almost. God worked it out.
Yep. Yep.
Anyhow, so let's get into the meat and bones, meat and potatoes. I guess what we're here for, and uh, let's kind of start off with like I said, we talked about before childhood.
Mhm.
Uh, so what was it like growing up for you? What kind of environment? You have some stories that you'd like to tell. Things that would really let us know. Get an insight on your upbringing.
Okay. So I was born out in Seattle, and when I was about a year old, we moved to Ohio. So that's where I am now. We moved to Ohio because the doctors out in Washington State didn't know what was going on with me. They thought I had a brain tumor,
Mm.
and there were like a team of doctors out there. They thought I had a brain tumor. My parents came to Columbus, or they sent the information to Columbus. I don't know how it worked, but they figured out that I have cerebral palsy. So um, we moved from Seattle to Columbus, and my dad was doing work from home before from home was a thing. So because he still worked out in Seattle. But so we moved to Columbus, and then we moved up to the Mansfield area, which is where Shawshank Redemption was filmed. So that prison is not in my backyard, but it's in the area. So, um, but so some of the things from my childhood, I do have an older sister and then an older half brother, and um, my older half brother didn't live with us, but growing up, when we moved into the house up in Mansfield, um, there to keep to keep me and my sister out of the furnace room, my dad told us that ET lived in the furnace room. So, I mean, it would come on and we'd like freak out because we thought it was ET in the furnace room. And obviously, there were workers in the furnace room. So it was dusty and they would leave prints and like, oh, that's ET's prints. So, fun things like that. And then, I mean, we would go. I was lucky enough that I was able to travel a lot because of my dad's work. Like he was able to take us with him whenever he went somewhere to work. So we got to go to Disney multiple times because of my dad's work. We got to. I spent time at the Opryland Hotel in Tennessee. Got to stay there because of my dad's work. Got to go to Costa Rica. So things like that, like you wouldn't really expect. Um, I went to San Francisco and I met my dad's boss from Japan. So I had a authentic Japanese kimono that they brought over for my sister and I, and they told us how to properly do it and that sort of thing. So that was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, since you had a lot of adventures.
Yeah.
Would you like to go into any one of those in particular? Like really like those that's your favorite childhood memory that really just kind of you'd love to go back there in your mind.
One of the there was one when I was in high school that my dad and I and a friend went to New York City. We stayed right off of Times Square, and we were visiting my dad's friend who trains animals for the movies. So he was on a movie shoot, and we got to go to the set and see Edward Norton being, going through the scene. And then when I later saw that movie, I'm like, hey, I was there. Like, I saw that scene being filmed. So things like that, that's really cool.
That is a great memory.
Yeah.
Like, so on your, you said you went to see you because you went to a lot of places. Wow, I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
Disneyland. I mean, that had been a really great experience. Get to meet like the uh, well,
No, not Disneyland, Disney World,
Disney
different
World.
state.
I apologize. Yeah, Disney World. Getting to go there and getting to meet probably a lot of your favorite childhood cartoons in real life,
Mm-hmm.
or
Right,
for a
right.
child would see. That's had to been pretty cool. Was there an exorbitant amount of excitement the night before? Like, I couldn't sleep before you went, or was it one of those things where?
No, it was more about like meeting the characters. Like, I loved meeting the characters. My favorite was Skyride. Like, I always love heights, and that's something that my family doesn't share. But um, we, I mean, I love going up in like the Empire State Building, and I like going up. I went up in the CN Tower. Um, Unfortunately, we didn't get to go up in the Twin Towers before they fell. We were there a few months beforehand, and I asked my parents if we could go up. And I said, no, we'll go up there next time. I said, well, there's not a next time now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you ever are in Indy, I may be able to get you up in the Salesforce Tower. I got a friend. It's I think it's the 47th floor is the highest it
Oh,
goes,
okay.
but
Nice.
that's the tallest that we got in Indy. So, uh, but yeah, that I think it'd be a good adventure to get out and do. You can, because one of the coolest things you can see from the 47th floor in Indy, is you look directly down, you can see the circle, and
What's the circle?
so the circle in Indianapolis, like our central. We have like a soldiers and sailors statue,
Okay.
and it's a really tall like spire with a woman on top, and of all these different soldiers and sailor statues that are all around. And it's got like a history and stuff. So like, you like history, so it'd be like a lot of good stop and read type of stuff, but lots really really great visuals too. So like I can't stand heights, but like, yeah, because on the 47th floor there's a spot where you can actually step out onto the glass and look down.
Yeah, you can do that at the CN Tower too.
And so yeah, I wouldn't do it, but I took pictures.
I was there. I did it.
And then so you got to stay at the Opry hotel. You said there's a lot of history there too. Did you get to learn some pretty cool history while you were there, like music and all that stuff? Being there,
we went to the Andrew Jackson's house, the Hermitage, when we were there. So that was the one thing that I really wanted to do, and we did that and toured around there. So that was pretty cool.
so you got to learn a lot of his history then.
Yeah.
Maybe square it up where, because I know that Andrew Jackson was a controversial figure to say the least, and
especially his inauguration.
The man had his own newspaper, and I know that fake news was like pretty much coined by him.
Right.
That term was coined by him, so it's a lot of parallels between someone else. But anyway, let's see here. Moving on. Any other like shenanigans you might have gotten into as a kid, or was you like more of like a mellow, just like hangback type of kid? But what kind of a kid were you?
I mean, so where I grew up in the country. So my parents had 5 acres at the time, and there wasn't really anything to get into. I mean, my town was very small. I graduated with a class of 135, and that was combining 2 different towns. So it wasn't like that big of a thing. The biggest thing that happened was that my school went to state basketball championships for the first time in school history, and it was one of the years that LeBron was there. So it was like we were playing the same day as LeBron.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, was there? I mean, so you're just kind of a chill type of student in school, or like a straight A?
Yeah. I mean,
Shoes,
I
on that.
Yeah, like I mean, the lowest grade I ever got was a C, and that was in not chemistry, calculus. That was because we went on a 10-day trip to Hawaii my senior year of high school, and I was taking all these AP classes, and I didn't want to go. So I fell behind. There was sometimes that my parents were out like exploring the island, and I was doing homework in the hotel room because I'm like, I can't fall behind, and then I didn't understand anything. So yeah, I was a very studious student, and I when I went to college, I was known as the study room girl because I was always in the study room working when everybody else was doing other things.
So a workaholic.
Yes. Yes. That's what my boss currently tells me too.
Sounds like you got
It's
hyper
like it was
focus.
about a year and a half into I do. I'm a perfectionist for sure. Like I took an Enneagram test recently, and that was perfectionism.
Nothing wrong with that. I can relate.
Nope.
And so it sounds like you got the gift of hyper focus. That's good. That not everybody can get that. Being able to just
No.
sit down and keep going on something until it's done. I know far too many people with ADHD. They start something and they get going along, and it's like, oh, gotta stop. But then, so your YouTube channel, I'd got to see some of the content. I didn't get to go over all of it, of course. But it looks like you got quite a few different things going on. So, well, of course, the YouTube channel link is in the description. By the way, if you guys aren't already watching um, via that link from there, that's how I got here. And then that link is in the description below, no matter what platform you're viewing on or listening. But what drove you to start streaming on YouTube or record videos to put on YouTube, and then not only that, but what is the project you're currently working on, and then where do you intend on taking your YouTube channel from here?
Yeah. So I don't really know how I got started. I mean, I got started watching YouTube probably around 2020. So then I eventually decided, I'm going to go out and, go for walks and that sort of thing. So I decided to start filming walks at certain different places around Columbus because it's like Columbus has a lot of different weird things to offer. Like we have a field of corn, which is weird. It's a field of concrete corn. Um, there's a waterfall nearby, so you don't really expect waterfall to be in the city limits, but there is. And then I mean there's different parks and reservoirs and that sort of thing, so just going out and seeing nature and seeing the beauty there. And then people were like, oh, like you should do audiobooks, so I was like, okay, like I'll start that, but like that didn't really take off. So I like interviewing people. So that's where I currently am. I've interviewed Eddie Block. I've interviewed David Devine, who sang with the Ramones. I interviewed my friend Encrypted Connections. So I mean, I'll talk to anybody about anything and give their life story. Uh, I also talked to one of the Proud Boys who was convicted of January 6th. So, I mean, I'll talk to anybody.
Yeah, the diverse background of folks to talk to and
Mm-hmm.
about their history, and then so I noticed that you had look like you had some poetry on your YouTube channel. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And
I do. I am a published poet. So I do have some. I don't know if I have my poetry on there, but I do. I have written poetry for different people, and I'm also published as well.
published. So that's actually really really cool to find out. And so let's lean a little bit more into that. So what did that look like? Did you start off with poetry as a young, as like a teen, or where did that inspiration kind of start? What kind of drove you into poetry to begin with?
Yeah, it's basically I get these thoughts in my head, and I can't get them out of my head until I put them down on paper. And it's just free form poetry. I don't really like rhyming poetry, but free form poetry, and it usually just goes along with a subject that I'm thinking of or feeling. But it's never like, oh, I'm going to sit down and write poetry. It's I can't get this out of my head. I have to put it down on paper, and then it turns into something.
Very Walt Whitman type style.
Yeah, I do like Walt Whitman too. Leaves of Grass.
Yeah. I've read that many times, so this has got to be right up her alley. So that started with in your teen years, or where did
Mm-hmm.
teen years?
Yeah, the first time I was published was when I was in like 9th grade. So it was just like a compilation of poetry. So
And it was starting in your teen years. Would you say that your earlier work would have been, I mean, it's certainly it's an art form. So
mm-hmm.
would you say that it's progressed and become something completely different now when you're sitting down and you write? Is your process pretty much the same? Has it kind of changed over time?
Yeah, it's the same. Sometimes like I'll write about a specific topic. Like the first time I was published was about multiple sclerosis. And then I was published about I believe it was like Soldier. I've written things about Iwo Jima. I've written things about Bigfoot. So, I mean, it's a whole wide range of topics that I write about.
Kind of whatever kind of stirs around in your head. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can get that. And let's see. I know we're kind of like hopping around a little bit, but I guess this is kind of a nature of the,
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm trying to get a feel of where your mindset is at.
Right.
So let's just go back into your teen years. You're writing poetry. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of set the stage, and then was that something that you shared with friends and family, or was it more like it was more of a private thing with you to start? How did that all kind of?
That's a great question. I don't really remember. It wasn't like friends and friends. I didn't really have a lot of friends in high school, and I don't talk to anybody from high school now. It was, yeah, that was a whole different era. But I must have shared them with my parents because I mean that's how I got published and ended up buying the book that it was published in. I would post on what was that site? Poetry.com. I posted a whole bunch of poetry there. Which that website is no longer, but
yeah, I'm familiar with that website. I was also on that website.
So
yeah, that's pretty fantastic. Do you? I don't know if you happen to have any old poetry, or maybe you have something in your mind that you could maybe recite for us now. I'm just kind of like excited to hear some of your work because that's one of the things that I've always been fascinated with is poetry. So
let me see if I have something. Hold on, let me go see if I can grab it.
Okay. So while we wait on her to return here shortly, I'm just going to kind of show you guys what Hope's YouTube channel looks like real quick. Share that page if I can.
Okay, I found a few. Let me see. Okay, I found one.
All right.
Okay, this one is titled I Wonder. I wonder how it was, writing by the light of a single candle, with a feather pen full of ink, knowing your words would change history, anticipating the response, hoping for a place among the great men. I wonder how Jefferson felt those long summer days as he wrote the lasting document, the one that changed history, the Declaration of Independence.
I would wonder that too. Now you got me thinking about that.
So that was one of them. The journey. A lost journey is never forgotten. A person searches for it in the remainder of their lives, sifting for it at the bottom of a river, looking between cracks of rocks, climbing to the snowy summit of a high peak, peering through the stinging salt of the sea, returning home devastated and disappointed, without the journey they longed for. All the while they were searching, the journey they were searching, sifting, looking, climbing, and peering for to be found in their heart and soul.
Wow. I like that. If you could send me a copy of that, I would like that one.
Okay, yeah. I can do that.
That now has a deeper meaning with me. Of course, I have my puppy dog name Journey, but then
Right.
just the idea of the, it's not the destination, it's the journey. And then you hear that poem, it's like, oh, that's fantastic. It's actually, you're going on a trip in a poem. I like it.
Yep. I have to find my other ones too, because there was a good one that I wrote about. Yeah, I'll have to share it with you. I know where it is now that I'm thinking of it, but I have to find it.
Well, I mean, as if you're still around, or I don't know how long. I think you said you had a hard out at 9 p.m. was your latest you can go.
Yeah.
So So if you're pretty sure you're not able to gather it up, we can do that certainly. So the poetry that kind of comes to you, and then so far as your YouTube channel, you're kind of you said interviews is probably your favorite thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you just kind of go with whomever was willing to just kind of sit down and chat, right?
Yep, absolutely. I would love to interview you, Josh.
All right. Well, let's definitely, certainly. That'll be great. AC is currently rating our stream, so that's pretty cool. So thank you, AC, for rating the stream.
It's about time he shows up.
I just have to tell him, say hello, young man. But, that's always time. But so let's. I know I keep wanting to touch back on your childhood, but I think that there's some nuggets in there that that people would probably really like to hear. I mean, you talk about that's the poetry. You started in the teen years.
Mm-hmm.
You said small town, so
Mm-hmm.
There had to have been some really cool small town traditions that you got into, or like did you get into the parade? Those kind of small town things, festivals and things like that, or
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So the town I grew up in has a street fair. We call it the World's Fair, and they shut down Main Street 1 week a year. It's one of the oldest street fairs in Ohio. And I mean, people, you judge your vegetables and your pies and all that sort of stuff. And that was a highlight. Like, people still come back to it, even when you leave the town and everything. Like, you come back for the street fair. So, I mean, street fair stuff, there's rides, there's, they have the animal tents, which then later sell for the Future Farmers of America. So, yeah, I mean, that's a highlight for sure, growing up. And then once a year, I never participated in this, but they had Drive Your Tractor to School Day. So they drove tractors to school. There was one time that people had hay bales, like a, with a tractor on it, with the hay bales, and they took it to prom. Like, that's the kind of town I grew up in.
Yeah, only in the Midwest, right?
Right. Right.
So we have that in common. So we know, like, people out there are going, they rode what to school?
Right. It's like it was in our gym. Like we didn't have like, we rented out halls or anything like that. And there's a cow farm on one side of the school, there's a sheep farm on the other side of the school. Like it's out in the middle of nowhere.
And over there on YouTube, I think it's Graw.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said, "There's pie." Of course he's excited about pie. It's a very Graw type of question.
Very true.
Uh, and what's this here? So maybe Josiah says he wished he was a conservative supporting OS operating system for mobile that was 5G. Legitimately does not exist. Maybe or maybe not. I don't know what that. I guess you're talking about an operating system. I'm not sure what to say. We use Mac over here. This is a Mac household. Maybe try that route. But anyhow, back to the conversation here. I don't want to get too derailed. No, so were you involved in any of those festivities as far as like any of the groups or programs, or like you mentioned Future Farmers of America? Did you get into any of that stuff, or just kind of
No.
just enjoyed the festivities?
Yeah, I just did the festivities, and I really liked. There was Power of the Pen, which was a writing competition, and then there was also mock trial, Model UN, those sort of things is what I was interested in. When I was a junior in high school, like between my junior and senior years, um, that summer I went down to Washington D.C. for I think it was a 10-day program. It was National Student Leadership Conference. We stayed at the American University, and we had speakers from like ambassadors and different people that were pretty big. One thing I did get to do was I was able to I was one of the 4 people chosen to lay the wreath at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier when we went to Arlington.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that is an
that was really
honor.
cool.
That
Yeah,
is a very cool honor.
yeah,
That's
that was
awesome.
really really cool.
That is
Um, so we got to go and meet some of the guards, and they talked to us. They told us um, what to do and what to expect and that sort of thing. But I was able to do that.
so. As a young person, you were getting engaged and understanding how our nation worked. It sounds like history, the and politics, geopolitics, that kind of thing. You were
Hmm.
high
Yeah.
interest to you. Yeah, it's not what teenagers are normally. It's interesting to hear. So, was there something that was it the history that drew you to the uh, Model UN and things like that, or what drew you to that specifically?
I'm not really sure. Like I've always really been interested in it. Like ever since what is it, '92 election, where like you were able to vote in school. Who would you vote for president, sort of thing, and just growing up like that. We always had the news on, and um, I was watching like unsolved mysteries and the news and CNN and Fox News and all that sort of stuff. From high school on, and it's just something I've always been interested in. So when I went to college, I was going to be a Spanish teacher. Um, Decided I don't like being up in front of people, so that didn't work out. um, but then I switched to history and political science. So I have a dual degree in history and political science, and I'm a triple minor as well.
Where did you go to college at?
The Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Okay.
Yeah, it's in the town of Indiana in Pennsylvania. Um, so it's really confusing for people. It's not part of Indiana University at all. It's the largest state school in Pennsylvania, and it was known for as a teaching program. So that's what I wanted to do. So that's what I decided to go. And my minors are in English, Pan African Studies, and Latin American Studies.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of subjects underneath your belt.
Yeah, so it's so like the Pan-African studies, you study the diaspora, the African peoples from Africa to the Americas. And Latin American studies, obviously, a lot of those people from Africa went to South America. Most people went to Brazil, actually. 12 million slaves went to Brazil. And that's where you get the um, Brazilian culture, the samba, and all that sort of stuff come from the African people coming over.
Hmm. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
I've been learning more and more about that here recently. So that's really cool to find out. And so, given that, you're talking about like you started off wanting to be a Spanish teacher, but then because of the people,
people.
no, I think I'll focus more on history, which seems to be as we've been talking here, it seems like that was always going to be more of your interest anyway. Right? So is there a particular point in history that you're more like really hyper focused on, or are you just like student of like all history that's like, I just love all of it?
I love all history, but there are two places that I really like. One is the Jacobite Revolution in Scotland in the 1700s. And then there is Gettysburg, specifically Little Round Top. I am kind of obsessed with Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain of the 20th Maine.
You'll have to expand on both of those things for me. I'm stupid for a minute, which I am with some things, but I'm very interested to hear about both of those things if you don't mind expanding.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Jacobite Revolution was when they were trying to bring Charles Stuart over from France to be the king over Scotland, and that ultimately failed with the Battle of Culloden, which is where the Scottish Highlander way of life died. Like wearing tartans were outlawed, and they became British citizens after that. And that's all shown in Outlander. I don't know if anybody watches Outlander, but that was shown in Outlander. But one of my favorite authors is Susanna Kearsley, and she writes a lot about it. Historical fiction, but most of the stuff that she writes about that time is legitimate.
I haven't watched Outlander, but I will now. I know I'm interested. I had no idea what it was about. So,
yeah. Well, it's very there's a lot of places that you may want to forward through, but it's the history of it is very real.
Yeah, I love watching. Because I know that with history shows, it's always got to be a little bit loosely based. They got to right. alter things for time's sake. Like I was huge into Vikings, the TV series, and then so I get it because like I know that like they had to like take basically centuries of history and kind of cram it into I think it was like 6 seasons. So I get it when like somebody was a father and son and they were separated by like 400 years.
Right.
But so I get that. So that would be really cool. And then you mentioned the other. So in the American Revolution, you said, right? Was it the other?
No, Gettysburg.
Gettysburg. Sorry.
Civil War.
And then a specific individual from Gettysburg.
Yeah, Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain. He was the leader of the 20th Maine. He led the bayonet charge, which is the last time the United States ever did a bayonet charge. And he saved Little Round Top from being overtaken by the Confederate soldiers, which is arguably the turning point in the war. Because if they would have lost Little Round Top, then they could have lost Gettysburg, which was the turning point of the war.
So his name was Joshua Lawrence
Chamberlain.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised I've never heard that name before.
Have you ever seen the movie Gettysburg?
Been a long time, but yes.
He is the main person in that movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard for me to remember that film because, like I said, it's been a very long time. So I don't know. Did he happen to be a man of faith?
He was a man of rhetoric. He was a professor at Bowdoin College in Maine, and then after the war, he became governor of Maine.
Okay, so he was more of a like a Ben Franklin type of
Yeah.
person. Yeah,
Right.
kind of agnostic, maybe.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, I became obsessed with him at a very early age. One of our dogs, his name was Shadow, but his middle name was Chamberlain. When I was in 7th grade, we had to write persuasive speeches, and mine was on what I just talked about Little Round Top. And I very vividly remember one of my classmates saying, "I don't understand." So, like, the teacher had to tell her what I was arguing about, and then her speech was on Tupac, and I was like, "I don't know who this person is." I had no idea who Tupac was until like I got to college.
I can appreciate that.
So
Yeah, it's a quite a contrast.
exactly.
I knew who Tupac was. I didn't know about Mr. Chamberlain, so I guess I can relate to the other students,
Right.
at least in that time.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's most kids' minds are on those what's in pop culture.
Right.
Kind of a lot of teens are that way, and so for you to stand out like that, that's actually really cool to not mind it too. So that is that shows a lot of well, you like stories about people with grit. I mean, I would say that
Mm-hmm.
it takes a lot of grit to be able to be willing to say this is what I like, this
Right.
is what I'm about,
Yeah.
and lean into your love of history and Mr. Chamberlain and all those things.
Right.
It couldn't have been easy. I'm certain that came with its hardships, right?
I'm kind of a nerd. Yeah. I mean, one of the places that we went to when I was younger was Gettysburg. So whenever I get the chance, I love going to Gettysburg, but specifically Little Round Top.
When I was talking with you pre-show, one of the places that I stayed when I was working, because we were working in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which has its own history there too. But where we were staying, the cabin I was staying in while we were working was in Chickamauga.
Okay.
And that's a battlefield.
Right. That is a battlefield.
And man, do they love telling the history there.
Oh, I bet they do.
There's a barbecue joint there. It's named the Chattanooga Choo Choo. It's a barbecue joint. But it's the Chickamauga. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that's how everybody there was saying it. It's that location. And when you walk in there, all over the walls is nothing but history about
cool.
Civil War and and both sides too. They honor both sides. They don't just. It's not just Confederate. You would expect in your mind, you're like, they're just going to have Confederate stuff in there. I know that. I'm a Yankee. But no, they honored both sides, and that was really cool. And so you got me thinking about that. Not to lean too much on myself, but just in the moment, I was just thinking about that. I was like, that might be a place if you're ever, in Georgia. I would highly recommend going. It's good food, by the way, but also, so if you like good barbecue, but then you get to, yes, girl, there's barbecue.
Used to for the food conversation, I guess.
But not only that, but then all the different things on the wall, and the owner of the establishment is more than willing to tell you about the things that are all posted all over the wall, and you can learn quite a bit in a visit to a barbecue joint.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah. So since you're a student of history, I highly recommend it if you ever get the chance to go that direction.
Okay, definitely.
And so, do you think that you're doing interviews and things like that on your YouTube channel? Do you think that maybe you could add some content in there, like, and this is just because you got this such a fascination with history, and I love just hearing you tell about it. You think you want to add content in there that was history based, like really kind of, tell the stories that may not have, you know, went out in public schools. I mean, like I was public educated, so
Right.
I missed out on a lot of stuff. And I mean, you were telling me about a couple of things. I'm like, oh wow, I'm learning right now. And so I was kind of fixated on the things that you were telling me about. And so, do you think that would be something that you might want to pursue and add into your channel?
I don't know. I mean, like, I know it's gonna sound so weird. Like, I know so much information, and I'm like, oh wait, you don't know that? Like, things that I think are like very commonplace, people don't know. Because I'm just a sponge, and like, you tell me something, and then I kind of run with it and um, look into things, and then I'm like, oh, like you don't know this? Like, here's 50 million different, you know, things about this one thing that you told me about. And then I'm like, you don't know that? How do you not know that?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of something that we discuss a lot within Revolver.
Mm-hmm.
It comes from a book that I have here. It's called Do Better Work. Uh,
Okay.
it's the guy that used to work for a company before the company became Salesforce. They were called something Orange. But anyway, the guy that wrote the book is a really cool dude. I actually got to meet him. But the what he writes about is the burden of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And um and when someone doesn't know something, there's this way of approaching it that I had never thought about until I was reading it in his book. I was like, you said, you don't know that, here, let me teach you this.
Right.
And all the different ways that people learn, like people have different sensibilities, people have different backgrounds, and you have some people you can teach them how to do something just by giving them a thimble of information, and other people you have to be
Right.
more patient with and take your time. Um, and I feel like I know that I fall into like either category at any given moment, depending upon how much I already know about a subject. Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fairly intelligent guy, but you know, uh, but then hearing you talk about this history stuff, it's like, oh man, I want to hear more. I I think that the way you're just disseminating just this little bit
Mm-hmm.
of knowledge, I feel like a sponge sitting here, like, I would like to just listen about more history, please.
Right.
That's why I suggested, it was like, hey man, that think that would hit a home run. I've seen people doing that. I know that I click on a lot of history stuff when I'm on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube or Rumble. Um, and seeing that you got the knowledge, why not share it with the rest of us?
It's true. I mean, I think that would take a lot more, like, putting up different, images or something like that, on a specific um, topic, whether it be talking about Washington, D.C. and, how that was designed, or Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain and his history, or the history of whatever, Apollo 13.
Well, I'd say certainly we could, gather the troops here. I mean, we have AC and Eddie and all the guys here, and say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this is what Hope needs for her next project. Go out and find it and make it easier on her, so that way when she throws it all together and edits and stuff, she'll have all these things already. So yeah, we'll just call the team in on it.
Okay, we'll call the team. You call your people, I'll call my people.
um, yeah, I think that would be really fantastic. I think I would be. I don't know. I have these thoughts in my head, and it's like you have this great potential. I just see it. It beams, and so yeah, like I said, when you were telling me just about a little bit about history, I'm going.
Mhm,
"Mhm."
mhm, mhm.
Um, is there other things in history that really grab your attention, or was those like really this just like the main things that you focused on? Right.
I mean, there's so much, history. Um, like there's specific people throughout history and different areas. And I mean, I didn't study European history. I didn't study ancient history. I studied Latin American history. I studied African American history, um, and I've acquired the Scottish history through reading the books that I've been interested in, watching the shows that I've been interested in, and I really want to go to Scotland. But the Civil War has always been something that I've really been interested in. Been to Appomattox, I've been to Antietam, Gettysburg, that sort of thing. Been to different um, reenactments. One of my teachers growing up in high school, he was in the movie Gettysburg as a reenactor, obviously. But just different historical things I love learning about. Um, World War II. I went to a concentration camp over in Germany. Um, went to I've been to Puerto Rico. So the streets of San Juan, the old ones are blue, and they're blue bricks because they were ballast from the ships when they came over. So they offloaded the ballast and made them into the street. So those are from 14th, 15th, 16th century.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah. But it's, I mean, just knowing like different, interesting tidbits like that. That's what I like. We ate at a restaurant in Austria, and they have cannonballs in the wall still from when Napoleon hit it.
That's
Certain
awesome.
things like, yeah.
Well, so Goofy says that you could start with the dissertation you did in school. You did a dissertation in school?
I didn't do a dissertation, but um, there was one of my senior classes in college that I had to do at least it had to be at least 20 pages, and I chose Jesse Owens, um, and the how the media portrayed Jesse Owens throughout Germany and the United States. And this was really intimidating for me to do, um, because my one of my professors, the professor that was over that um, class, he was one of the top 5 Chinese professors outside of China, not teaching Chinese. His um, book on African Americans in during the Revolutionary time period is required reading for all law students in China. So he's a pretty big guy in African American history, and I wrote about African American history in his class. I got an A.
I'll bet.
So
I would have gotten an F easily. I would, yeah. I would have talked about Tupac. Yeah. Probably Biggie, honestly, because I was more of a fan of Biggie, but yeah.
So
so is there anything that you would like people to know more about your YouTube channel, or things that you have planned for the future with it, or any other projects that you're working on?
I would really like to pick up again on my interview series. I really like talking to people and learning about them, and I'm sure you'll learn that as well, talking to different people, Josh. But it's so good to get people's stories out there. In my work, like I always like when funerals come around in my work, I do work at a church. It's like I never knew that about them. Like, why didn't I know about that about them? Like, they didn't talk about themselves. They didn't think it was important to tell people like they were one of the forefronts of GPS technology, or hey, this was an executive producer on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Like, I was like, I wanted to know these stories. Like, what were they like? Like, how did you run into this? And you don't know that until they're passed, and then you can't ask them.
Yeah. Yeah. What? Yeah. So that makes this all the more reason, right? It's
Right.
More get to know you. So you mentioned working in a church.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your main employment currently?
Yeah.
Or? Okay.
Yeah.
And then may I ask what it is that you do for the church?
I am the office manager, so I run the church. I've been an office manager at a church for on and off 12 years, two different churches. One conservative, one very liberal. So it's very interesting, but I mean, they all basically function the same way.
So a lot of the offering plate, you know, whatever's the finances, I guess is where my mind immediately goes to, because I'm guessing that's that's the biggest part of management, is just making sure that the finances are going where
I don't do anything with finances. Never have.
Okay.
It's more about the bulletins, the people-y part of the work. Bulletins, prayer things, funerals, weddings, all the communication stuff. You know, if there's slides to be made for Sunday morning or flyers to be made, I'm very good at making things in Canva.
It sounds like you got to put on a lot of different hats.
I do. Yeah. You never know if who's going to come in, you know, if they need assistance or somebody's going to call up and say so-and-so died.
Yeah. So it sounds like there's quite a few different responsibilities. Is there a favorite part of being, I mean, so you've been doing it for a number of years. What is there a favorite part of being a church office manager that, that's really sticks out to you, or is it you just kind of like the whole thing? I mean,
yeah, I mean, I really like the people. I mean, regardless, if you agree with their political beliefs or not, it's the people that make, your work. And, if you, you don't have to agree with them on everything, but it makes your day go round. Like, people will bring in cookies or, here, I thought of you. Here's, some new gloves that I just made. Like, what? Like, you don't get that in different places. Like, I had somebody for my birthday this year, like, they knitted gloves for me. I'm like, what?
That's a sweet gesture.
Yeah, it was. But, you have those sort of things that people do from the heart for you because they're thinking of you, or that you, it's like, oh, like, you do so much for, the church, and people don't realize it because a lot of people think the church just happens on Sunday, and they don't.
Yeah. I should say good evening to Steve really quickly, because he's always on. He's very vigilant about being on with us on Morning Word. So I had to make sure that I say hello to him real quick.
Hi, Steve.
Steve's a good guy. I don't know if you've familiar.
I've not run into Steve yet. Yeah. Hi, Steve.
Good fellow. But yeah, so being church management and stuff like that. So you're wearing a lot of hats. Slides, I heard that, and then you said you're
bulletins.
Bulletins. But yeah, there's a lot of gears turning there. So so you're making sure that the like ushers and things like that, making sure that all those people are all your volunteers are in order, and having to what is it called? Delegate a lot, I bet.
Yeah, a lot of delegation. But it's a lot of pulling information from different people too, because if I'm doing, a newsletter, then I have to get all the information from all the other people and compile it into something pretty to look at, and then disseminate it out to different people. Or if I'm creating an order form, or if I'm creating a flyer for certain different things, I do all of those sort of things. I'm also the communications director.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So I imagine that when they're compiling the prayer list for the week, that you probably are in control of that as well, or have that.
No, I just send that information out to the people who would need it. Like, if something happens and it's like, oh, like, you need to know this, please send this out.
And then probably the phones and things like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Prior to being in church management, what other employment did you come under, if you don't mind me asking?
Okay. I took a deep breath because we're gonna get into it here. So let me go all the way back. We're not gonna go hit on all of them, but I've done a lot of
Just
different
the highlights.
things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've worked at Cedar Point, the amusement park. Um, I've worked at Wendy's. I've worked at Toys R Us. I've worked at a photo place called Cord Camera. I've worked. Um, I worked at a book distributor. I had an internship in Washington D.C. For 6 months. It was right beside the White House. Then I also worked down in Washington D.C. That didn't work out. I was there for 6 weeks. Then I've worked in a greenhouse. I've worked in a textbook company, and I worked at a HVAC company.
Wow.
Which one do you have questions about?
Well, let's go back to, was it just prior to Wendy's? You said
they weren't in order. I just blurted them all out.
just prior to Wendy's, and that's why I was
Was it the internship?
I got derailed right after you said Wendy's. I was like, no, I wanted to hear about that previous one. So are there any of those?
Yes, girl, there's Wendy's.
Oh goodness. But are there any of those jobs that really like stand out to you that you're like, I had a good time there? These were the, these were good years, or good months, or however long you were there.
I loved all of them. I loved my internship. I mean, it was right beside the White House. It was in 2009, and it was just a really incredible time for me. It was through a group called the Washington Center, so we would have programming on Mondays, and then the rest of the week you'd do your internship. Well, I got to go to the Organization of American States, the World Bank, the IMF, and all these places in downtown DC. One time we got to be in the room when Obama made a speech. We got to meet with different congressmen and senators. And then they took me down to my internship took me down to San Antonio. I was the only person in my internship that was able to travel. They took me down to San Antonio, where they were doing a leadership conference. And I met the former president of Mexico, Vicente Fox.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah. So he was talking to me when there were other, congressmen and the president of the university. They're all in there, and he's sitting there talking to me. I'm like, I'm just an intern. But that was very memorable. I was also able to meet the former Prime Minister of Spain, Jose Maria Aznar. So that was really incredible time. That was also the few months that I was able to meet Jim Jordan, Mario Diaz-Balart, Lincoln Diaz-Balart, Henry Cuellar, a whole bunch of different people.
What was it like to meet Jim Jordan? What was that experience like?
Oh, he's really nice. I mean, growing up, he was, before they redistricted a little while ago, he was my congressman. So it's like, oh, Jim Jordan. Okay. Now I have, a Democrat, because I live in a city.
I can relate. I'm right next to a metropolis, so, and unfortunately, the small town that I am in, it's blue. It wasn't historically blue, but it's blue now, and yeah. It doesn't look like it's turning back anytime soon.
Right.
But yeah, Jim Jordan is one of the best. Yes. Yes. I agree. Yeah. Sure with that. And so that internship, you said that was a good time. You get to meet a lot of these different people, and so during those people that you met, or during that time when you were meeting all those people, was there any of them that was just like this is a really great long conversation that I had with them, or can you go into details of any of those conversations, or can you remember any of those, or just it was just so awestruck that like this person's talking to me that it was just like a
I
pass.
mean, when when I met the former president of Mexico, like I remember, standing in the room with him, and I'm trying to talk to him in Spanish, and everybody's Spanish accents are different, right? You have to get used to their voices and all that sort of stuff. And he he asked me how I was, and I didn't understand him. And that's like a very basic Spanish thing to say. So then he started speaking in English, and I went back to Spanish with him because his grandfather is actually from Cincinnati. So he went from Cincinnati to Mexico to make a better life for himself. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah. Man. I wonder what his journey was like.
I have his book. He signed it for me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And you said that in the all these other people that you could you considered them important, but at the
Right.
moment, hey, you were the important person.
I was, and that was I'm little 20-something-year-old Hope, and not I'm a nobody basically, and standing around in a circle with the former president of Mexico.
I think that could speak a lot to his character too. Then probably more of a man of the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always fantastic to meet somebody that's you consider they're like in maybe in our heads, like, oh, they're
Right.
They're important in this fashion of society or whatever, and then they're just a regular person, and they would rather talk to the regular people,
Right.
not considered on any kind of pedestal. It's like, hey, I want to have normal conversation. I don't want to talk to another senator about this, that, and the other.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, you saying that, it just reminds me of my dad's college friend that trains animals for movies. Like, he did one project with Anthony Hopkins, and Anthony Hopkins personally called him and to thank him for his work. And he's like, he could have had anybody do that, but he actually did that.
That's really cool to hear, because
yeah, you don't think that about those sort of people doing that sort of thing either.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's few people in Hollyweird, as we like to say about it,
right?
But there's few people that are in that business that are actually normal,
right? Decent people.
Yeah. We were talking about movies pretty early on. You talked about Apollo 13 being your favorite. Is there any particular performances in that film that you're like, that's what I'm really stuck on? That was what really drew you to that movie, or was it more of just because of the history of it?
A lot of it's the music. I love music in movies, and if I'm listening to the soundtrack of a movie, I love soundtrack of movies, and then I can visualize what's going on in that scene when I'm listening to the music. I also love Gary Sinise, so anything he's done after Apollo 13, like I've always loved him, like CSI New York, Forrest Gump, like love him in anything. And he's such a nice guy. One of the congregation members, he's a World War II veteran, and Gary Sinise has brought him to like the Memorial Day concert that he has in DC, and he's met him and that sort of thing. And he's such a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a lot more than just Lieutenant Dan.
He is.
And I could see your appeal to it, yeah, because he's a phenomenal actor, but yes, a phenomenal person.
Right.
So, yeah, I could see why you'd be drawn to him and well, in the character that he plays, and yeah, that. So you're drawn to patriotism, I would say then.
Yeah.
So generally speaking, you can defer not to answer, but you see yourself as more of an independent, or do you line up more conservative, or?
So, funny enough, I I had an interview recently. It was with the Ohio Senate, and not Ohio Senate, Ohio Republican, like the House of Representatives in Ohio, and they they asked me, on a scale of 1 to 10, one being AOC, 10 being Jim Jordan, where do you fall on that scale? I answered 11.5. So that's where I end up on that scale.
Gotcha. For the layman out there, extremely conservative. Yeah, you're in good company here. So was it your upbringing that kind of led you into that the conservatism, or did you come to it more as like in recent years? Like what led you to how you view the world, your worldview now, I should say?
So, I grew up conservative, but then the first time I registered as a voter, I registered as a Democrat, and then I switched back to Republican. All through college, like I remember there being when I went to college, it was the beginning of George W. Bush's first term, so it was 2004. And I'm being a political science major in college. So I remember there were certain times where we had to, review certain things, write papers, and um, I spoke out about, certain things, and the professor wasn't happy with me. And my grade suffered a little bit because of it. And then I decided I'm just going to shut up. And I didn't voice my dissent of certain things that she was saying at that point. And um, then my grade didn't suffer. So, but then it was 2017, and I had um, gone down to Puerto Rico once, and then Maria hit. And then, like, that response from the United States about Maria really upset me. And I saw as the administration is basically doing nothing. Power was there out there about over a year. Um, they didn't have the basic necessities they needed. Everything had to go through the United States because that's how, like, it's set up down there. And I was a Democrat for sure. I could not stand Trump. I could not stand anything about Republicans. And then COVID hit. And then when the riots and everything weren't shut down and people weren't getting sick, then my tune changed, swung the other way to 11.5. So
So would you say it basically it opened your eyes to a lot of things that have been hidden for a long time? Then?
yeah, it did. It absolutely did.
I think that's kind of, I think it's a lot of people's story, honestly.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people that they leaned one way and were actually, I've known some people that for their entire lives they were extremely far left, and then COVID hit, and then now they're still not quite as conservative as I am, but they
Right.
but they're at least to the right of center at the very least. But I've known plenty of them that have become complete conservatives. I'm like, nope, we're going to go back to this. We're going to go back to that. They want to, so family values big, because I heard you say you had your siblings, you loved them very much, your parents. They actually moved you across the country knowing that you had the condition, and so I mean that's love right there. That they were willing to move. It's like, hey, let's do this. Our child means that much to us, man. Not every kid actually gets the luxury of such loving parents. So that's fantastic that you had such loving parents. And And still with us to this day.
Oh yes.
Mom and dad. And yeah.
Yep.
And
my brother is very liberal out in California. So he's the black sheep of the family.
we'll just stick Eddie on him.
My brother was actually in Will and Grace on one episode.
Oh, neat.
So yeah.
That was an interesting show, actually. But
it was.
Yeah, I'm not much for the lifestyle.
No, but I mean, it was a funny show. Before it became way too political to, not make fun of that sort of lifestyle.
Yeah, it's seems to be prevalent in our society today, I think.
Yeah.
And well, you talked about your mind changing after COVID. I mean, I think people split in that way. Like, it really challenged people's psyche. And because you were seen as you had to work. You were urgent, or you had to end up spending a lot of time inside waiting for your job to open back up. Now with your church, did they close up during that time, or they let's full steam ahead?
So they did shut down. We shut down in March, and then I forget if it was late June or early July, but that was when we reopened and had everything in place, because some people were still, skittish and not skittish. So yeah, I mean, then we're at the church that I work at now, like they didn't come back really for a full 2 years, basically. So
I don't even know how a church could survive being out that long.
Yeah.
During that downtime, we just kind of sat back, or did you?
Oh no, I was still working. I was working from home though. Like all the calls and everything were routed to my phone, and so we were still working. We were still trying to do things and figuring things out, and it was a thing that happened. But I mean, we were still getting mail. We were trying to figure out how to do live streams. Staff meetings were on Zoom, all that sort of fun stuff. I hate Zoom.
Did you have I had this where I was considered essential, but I chose to work nights so that I didn't have to be around any of my coworkers, because they all wanted to do the mask thing and I wasn't having it, and so so I chose nights. I was at a computer company. It's irrelevant to, but anyway, but on Zoom, I noticed that while we're on Zoom, everybody's at home. There were a couple of people that they're by themselves at home and they had masks on at home.
Oh, jeez.
Did you have that experience?
No, we didn't. No. That's ridiculous.
I mean, to me, that was like, that's the same as somebody driving in their car. I still see it today.
Oh yeah.
Driving in their car, mask, but by themselves.
By themselves. Yep. Yep.
I was like,
but the funniest thing we did on Zoom was we were doing Bible study on Zoom, and one of my friends got on and he was always late. So we decided when he came on Zoom that we were going to pretend that we were frozen. So we did it. He was absolutely convinced until he was like looking like specifically at different people. He could see him like blinking. But he's like, "Can you hear me? Guys, are you there? Like, am I frozen?" Like, he's like trying to figure out his computer, and we're trying not to laugh. It went on for a good 2, 3, 4 minutes, something like that. But we had him convinced that he was frozen.
That's great. Girl, have you really seen masked motorcycle riders? That is that is funny. I could imagine 1%er on their vest and they still got them on their face.
I mean, you could wear a mask and keep the bugs out of your teeth, I guess.
Yeah. Just wear the helmet then, yeah. Goodness. Yeah, that would have been, I can imagine, pretending to be frozen and he, come on, guys. Uh, coming out of COVID and then getting back into the swing of things, was that, well, I guess, was it during that time, I should say, I want to go back. Um, During that time, was that the time that you had, like, maybe a little extra time to start really taking a look at what was happening, all around politically, or what really stuck out that opened your eyes to, um, the world at large, and the things that we may or may not have been lied to about for very long time.
Yeah. So that would be like when the protests started happening, and we're told to stay apart and not be together with anybody, and you're going to get sick and blah 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 blah. And then you have people packed in the streets and spitting on people and throwing stuff at them, and you know all those sort of things that they told us that were going to happen weren't happening. So that's when I'm like, what's going on here? And that's when I really started looking into different things. And as I started watching more and more protests and finding streams on YouTube and what they're hearing, what they're saying, and looking into them, then that's when I discovered, my eyes opened.
So you started getting into like a trust but verify mode.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Doing my research that I'm trying to do.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do
Yep.
it. Yeah.
That'll do it. That'll do, donkey. That'll do.
Yeah. So, when you start, I think a lot of people, I noticed that with a lot of people, they start doing their own research and they find themselves going, oh, I had a guy I used to work with. He was big time. He still votes Democrat for some reason, but, he was like one of those Bernie bros and stuff like that. But, I changed his mind on a lot of things. I said, because he was, big, like, well, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. Dude, the sentiment, that's fine. I'm fine with that. The organization, I said, I'm telling you, go and follow the money. And he'd been listening to a lot of different, influencers and things like that would tell you that very same thing, but it didn't click in his head until I told him. I was like, just follow the money.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And, he's like, what are you telling me? I was like, it always goes back to the money.
Right.
And, so he started to take a look, and I said, you can go to, at that time, the Black Lives Matter website was still up, and you can actually look and click on where their finances came from. You can't anymore. Yep. But, back then you could. And he was like, what's Act Blue? He came to, this is the next day. What's Act Blue? And I was like, well,
honey, you should ask. How much time do you have? Yeah.
And so then him and I, from that point on, we had a better understanding, because he did lean so far left,
mm-hmm.
and he became more of a moderate, just to, I guess I won't say underneath my supervision, because he wasn't underneath my supervision. Yeah, those conversations, I think that more people have to have those conversations too.
Right. And that's what we're missing a lot in today's society. And that's, so where I work, they don't know my political leanings. Whenever they bring something up, I'm not engaging with it, because I don't want to have that conversation with them, I guess. But it's so interesting to hear what they say, and they're like, they think one way. I'm like, no, like, they're trying to do this, and I try to steer them a little bit. Most of them are liberal white women, so you're not going to change their mind. Yeah. But it's just like, if they knew my political leanings, A, I wouldn't be there anymore. But B, they'd be like, I wouldn't never would have guessed, because of what I say, how I act, that sort of thing. Like, So hopefully whenever I do leave there, like they discover, my political leanings and be like, oh, like they're not so bad. Like we can talk to them
Yeah.
and have those conversations.
Yeah. They're not all evil, racist, transphobic,
Right.
homophobic.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, no, like you're wrong, but it's like you're wrong about this, you're wrong about this, you're wrong about this. And I can't have those conversations where I work.
Yeah, I had plenty of those situations where I had to sit back and I had, well, I mean, the biggest contract we had when I worked at my previous employer was Salesforce,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, so there's a lot of times where I had to sit back and just kind of listen to people talk,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, I'm not jumping into this. Like, I
Nope.
love confrontation. I'm not jumping into this
Yeah.
because my drive is to win.
Right. Right.
I was like, nope, this will take the whole day to dismantle their beliefs. And so,
But it's so interesting to hear how they get there and what they like. And I think that's what, we're missing in today's society. It's like we just want to jump in and be like, no, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. And this is why. And instead of like listening to people and understanding where they're coming from.
yeah, their perspective.
Right.
I think that I like that's what I like best about you know the debater Andrew Wilson.
No, I don't.
Oh yeah, you should check him out. He's actually he curses a lot, but he's insanely cool. And it's my only pet peeve with him. But other than that, his approach to debate specifically because that's his arena
Mm-hmm.
is he tries to think about everything from that person's worldview.
Mm-hmm.
That's his starting point.
Okay.
And so I'm like, man, that's kind of reminds me like the know thine enemy type of thing. You know, you want to know
Mm-hmm.
just as much about their world and their view as you do your own. So that way, when you guys start having a conversation, you already know kind of what they're going to say, and you can even use something comes from our world. Well, you're Christian as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like apologetics,
Right.
something that we're familiar with, so we could actually use that to that kind of format to or Socratic method, I guess, is another thing
Mm-hmm.
that could work. But I like apologetics better because I think it seems like it's more open
Right.
and you know they come to their own conclusion, you know, even though it's kind of driven.
Right. You're leading them there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I find him very, very fascinating in that way. But I think, you know, if you're to go with that approach, if you end up having to, like, let's
Mm-hmm.
say somehow you're outed as a conservative, because that's the thing now. Like, you don't come out
Right.
as anything else now. Coming out as conservative is a thing.
Right.
That would be my recommendation is just try to use that apologetics tactic because you know their worldview, you understand it because
Right.
you listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the fine line difference between us and them, is
Right.
that we're willing to sit and just kind of go, what is their thought process? I want to see how those gears turn.
Right. Exactly. And it's so interesting, and they don't want to give anybody the time of day. Basically, if you don't agree with them, it's their way or the highway. So that's what I'm hoping, like, because I know eventually I'll get outed, whether it's, going to a different job or, I'll just reach the end point and just be like, I'm done. This is this is where I think like
Or
this
just
is the line in the sand.
the viral internet interview, right?
Right. So, hi.
But it's all in love, right? Like, because I think that's I think I could tell that because you have a very big heart. I could tell that just from the few times I've had
Mhm.
conversation with you, you have a very big heart. That would you say that that's something that you always just found that was inherent, or do you think that was an influence from, you know, just like your coming up from with your parents and your siblings? Was that something that was just kind of shared in your household that everybody was just very, very loving, big hearted, or is it something that it was just pretty much how you were?
I think it's how my family is. I mean, there's there's a organization that was started by my parents, and they served 30,000 pounds of food with three different counties here in Ohio. And they started that. They built up another organization, which they had left, and started that organization. And, it's just that sort of compassion. And it's that sort of, being able to talk to different people from all different kinds of backgrounds. It's, I didn't grow up with that. And I grew up in a very non-diverse community. But, being able to just hear people out and understand their positions and where they come from, I think that's really important.
Perspectives and their, well, the way they came up and what
Yeah.
their life experiences were, and
Right.
how they got to where they are.
Right. I mean, like in college, like we're taking a an African American history class. I specifically remember this one class. It's always stuck with me because we didn't actually have class that day. I mean, we had class, but we didn't have class. We sat around in a circle. The class was half black, half white, and we were asking questions to people, the questions that you don't normally get to ask people. Anything was on the table. Why do you wash your hair all the time? Why do you wear a coat when it's 70 degrees? Why don't you wear a coat when it's 70 degrees? Like all that sort of stuff. And like learning that sort of background, because I was never exposed to African Americans growing up. And like learning, like their oils in the hair are different, and that sort of thing. Like I never knew that. And then it's like, oh, your hair gets really oily. Like that's weird, for them, about white people.
Yeah. It's neat to learn the differences between people. It can build your character too, because
Right.
yeah, because now you've come to understanding of like how what they've had to deal with.
Right.
And
exactly.
Yeah. I can relate to that on the opposite end. So I was one of the few melanin challenged children in my school, and so that was the culture that I understood and grew up in. And so when I come home, I guess I don't want to say acting a certain way, but
Right. Right.
my parents would say that I was a good kid, but but my teen years were troublesome. But yeah, I can, but I could see that being a challenge, because me growing up around it, I understood those things. But yeah, to be completely unexposed to it to a certain point,
Right.
that could be a culture shock. I mean,
Yeah.
for those worlds to collide like that. So yeah, I can appreciate that.
Where I grew up, it was the Klan was very prevalent in that area. Like not when I was growing up, but that was the like Central Ohio headquarters of it. And when we were learning about those sort of things in high school, our history teacher was like, "Oh, like does anybody have their Klan membership card?" And we're all just like, "What?" And we started laughing. And he's like, "Oh no, don't laugh. Like I asked this one time, and a kid pulled out their membership card." I'm like, "What?" So that's the type of environment that I grew up in.
I mean, I guess in being an Indianapolis kid, it's in the same state as Indiana, but like, because Indiana has a history with that as well.
Mhm.
But never, never did we get to ask that question. Wow.
No, I was like amazed. I'm like, "What?"
I'm sure some French Lick kids probably got asked that, but uh, yeah. So, whew. Let's see. We've covered some workplace things, some of the things that you've done with your YouTube, uh, and not other than interviews. Not really a whole lot of plans on the plate, at least as of yet.
No, not as of yet.
Not
Like,
as of yet.
there's no big extravagant plans.
Yeah, but interviews are still cool, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Doing
they
more.
are.
Yeah. So, is there anybody? Because you mentioned wanting to interview me, and I take that to heart. That's wonderful here. But there's somebody that like you really, it's like this is your white whale. Like I have to interview them. One of these days.
No, there's not really anybody like I'm like, ooh, like I have to, like, I want to get to that sort of place that I could interview them. I mean, the invitation's always open to anybody that would want to be interviewed. Like, I would love to interview Graw. He's always turned me down. Goofy for Jesus, like, I've asked her. She has a very interesting story, and we haven't connected like on that yet. There's other people in my life that I would love to just get to know their backstory, but I haven't. They're too big for me or too busy.
So I mean, So pie in the sky. You can interview anybody let's say all of a sudden we can make it possible.
Okay.
Who would you interview if you could pick out anybody?
Anybody in the entire world?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously they have to be living, of course, but like this is the person.
There's Ouija boards.
Well, clear those, but yeah. So like who would that like this is my one person that I would absolutely want to
interview. I mean, I would love Vance. I would love Sean Ryan from the Sean Ryan Show. Those would be the two that I would say for sure.
Okay, follow-up question.
Ramaswamy. I've met him, but.
So the follow-up question would be why on each of those?
Why?
Yeah.
I mean, the Sean Ryan Show is just, he's so good at his craft and, interviewing people. I would love to turn the table on him and interview him and I have seen interviews of him before, but just to ask questions that people don't typically ask, like how did he get there and where does he see it going? And Vivek Ramaswamy, because he has such an interesting background. He's running for the governor of Ohio right now, and just where he sees Ohio going, and instead of getting the sound bites that he's so apt to provide, to get down to the meat and potatoes of things. Vance, he's an Ohio guy, so he's just. He has a very similar mindset, and just to, dig into that a little bit more, dig into who he is and where he sees things going. Like, is he going to run for president in 2028? Probably, but just see the man behind the position.
Yeah, and so would you say that his childhood story would be a part of your?
Oh yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. It'd be as much as he would want to tell, and he'd probably be like, oh, like read my book, and it's like, no, I want to hear it from you.
Yeah, we want to hear about Mimo.
Right.
Yeah, those would be really great. Those would be really great interviews.
Yeah,
I think they'll happen.
You think they'll happen?
I think they'll all happen.
Your people will talk to my people.
Put Eddie on it. Eddie can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eddie has all the connections.
Yeah, Eddie has all the connections. So JD Vance, Vivek Ramaswamy, and forgive me, you said him already.
Sean Ryan.
Yeah, Sean Ryan. Now Sean Ryan, that would be you could probably get into his background, military, things like that. He had a lot of
He worked for the CIA.
Yeah, he saw a lot of stuff.
He got into a few things in Colombia that were insane.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine.
Yeah, he turned a dark corner after the CIA, and then he came back.
It was interesting to hear him recently declare his faith again, just a few months back, and then and start to. He's still got some very rough edges.
Right. But I think we're all work in progress.
Yeah. There's just sometimes when he'll say the Lord's name, and then he'll drop a few F-bombs before he gets. Mm-hmm. I'm like,
yep.
Come on, guys. But yeah, we all have our downfalls, I reckon.
Yep.
So, what did your faith journey look like, if you don't mind me asking? Like, was this? I mean, we talked about growing up in a household that was family values and things like that. So I assume that church was always a part of your life, and learning about the Lord was something that you grabbed onto early, or was it more? Okay.
So I grew up in the Lutheran church, and I went through First Communion there. I went through catechism, went to church camp when I was in high school, was very involved in church, helped run the Vacation Bible School. I didn't teach Sunday school or anything like that. I just helped run Vacation Bible School. And then I stayed going to church through college, went to a predominantly African-American church, which was a really cool experience for me. And then they had my ministry, which was really cool to watch. And then when I came back to Ohio after college, ended up in this super small country church, which I still go back to sometimes. It's a great little church. And then came down here to Columbus. I did not go to church where I worked, and I was encouraged not to. I found a great church nearby, though, and became really active in that, led this young adult small ministry, went on 3 different mission trips to Puerto Rico, and then was rebaptized as an adult there. And then ultimately I decided to leave there 2 years ago. I wanted to find something a little bit more conservative and that addressed more relatable issues. So, I mean, more of the political aspect and that sort of thing. So now I go to another church pretty close by.
Right, and that's the one you work in?
Yeah. No. I don't. I do not attend the churches that I work in.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because a lot of times if you work in a church, then it's another work day.
Gotcha.
So I did go to the church that I worked at, the first church that I worked in. I went there a few times. And people would come up to be like, oh, can you make a copy of this? Can you do this? Can you do this? I'm like, can you put it in my mailbox? They're like, oh. I'm here to worship. I'm not here to work. Yeah. And it's very hard for people to divorce those two ideas.
Yeah, you didn't have the luxury of playing them Forrest Frank, even God takes breaks.
Right. So.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. And so, yeah. I guess, that being said, you going to church and things like that. What was the aha moment for you? Like when you heard about Jesus, the sacrifice, the things like that, like when you were like, that's my Lord. Like he is the Savior. What was the point in your life where that really clicked?
I don't really know if I have like a aha moment, but I mean, there have been times that I just there are very specific times that I remember in my life that I just you're at the bottom of your rope and you're hanging on, and it's like, just let go because God has you. And I remember when I lost my job in DC, and it was the night before I was interviewing with a congressman, and I was just at my wit's end. Like I just went through my Bible and just kept going through my Bible and going through my Bible. And that next day I decided to come home. I mean, God was leading me home. There's certain instances like that is what stands out in my mind. It's like you have to be at your wit's end, your bottom of your barrel to go to God and to reaffirm your faith, even stronger.
Yeah. So it was very much your Job moment.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And yeah, I think that's, I mean, I guess Job had those moments, for the unschooled in Christianity. Job, this guy,
Went through everything.
yeah, he had right. He had everything. It seemed like, and he had a big family. He had a wife, was it 4 sons, and then he had, and all their wives, probably their kids. And so he says he's got this massive family. He's got livestock. He's got, people that work for him, and all that in an afternoon gets taken away from him. And then his friends, when they come along, because he's like, now he's in a place where he's like, oh, woe is me. I wish I was never born. This is too much to bear. His friends tell him like, oh no, you did this to you because you're an awful person. you're the reason all this got taken away from you. And it's like, man, I think it's those moments, and not necessarily, comparing the gravity of that situation to
Right.
anything that, any one of us has experienced, but we all have those low moments. And then reaching out to God is definitely the answer. And then, but that's that realization that, what Jesus did, for us, right? That realization, I think, best comes into perspective when we're in those moments.
Right. Yep.
Because they're that, sacrifice, our emotions, or everything's just on the table.
Yep.
And the honesty of David comes out, and you have that dichotomy of, I want to praise you, Lord. Don't pierce me, Lord. Don't leave me, Lord. I'm right here. You're the best, Lord.
Yep.
I'm lowly. I'm going to lay out prostrate, which means to lay flat on your face, being humble before him. And it's, is there any one of those moments where you're just like, yes, this is definitive, where if someone asks me, I'm going to tell them Jesus is Lord, and there's no doubt in my heart and mind. Is there anything like that that's led you to that conclusion?
Like a singular moment?
Yeah. Or just, what led you to believe, I guess is what to believe that Jesus is for sure Lord, that, that you not only know it, but believe it.
Right. I think if I really had to choose like a specific instance, because like it's so hard to say that, growing up in a church, it wasn't like I had this epiphany moment that led me to church, and this is my story. It was, I would say a lot of it was when I was in Puerto Rico, working, seeing the faith that the people had, that everything was going to work out, even if they didn't have running water, or if they didn't have a good roof over their head, or if they had mold growing on their house, or if the water's turned off for 4 days and it's 100 degrees. It's like we were, one of the years, the second year we were there, we were on top of a mountain, and that's where we stayed, in this house. There was no water. It was 100 degrees. And I mean, we were painting and all that sort of stuff. But I'm like, this is everyday life for these people. This is an inconvenience for us, and like they're still praising God, and yet we're like, "Where's our water?" Like we need a shower. It's a completely different mindset that you have to flip your mind around and figure out. Like they're praising God through the storm, literally.
It remind me of a quote that you've seen Sterling on Morning Word with me, I think.
I think so, yeah.
And his daughter Serenity, she's amazing at writing. She's just a young kid,
Mm-hmm.
you know, 13, I believe now, but she wrote something on our live chat the other day that resonates with exactly what you said. She said the storm is beautiful when you have Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so when you said that, I was like, there you go. So you've now if somebody asks that question again, you can be like, this was the definitive moment when I realized that Jesus is for sure Lord, because
Mm-hmm.
you can't deny the fact that these people still had hope.
Right.
And what do they have hope in? Well, Jesus, obviously.
Yeah.
They know that no matter what, he's on the boat with them, no matter if
Right.
the storm is crashing or not, and their eyes are on him. And it sounds like that was where your eyes went as well.
Mm-hmm.
Once your perspective changed.
Right.
That's got to be. I don't even know how to get my head wrapped around that kind of living situation.
Right.
I've heard about it. I grew up American poor, right? But
Right.
to not have access to a shower, to not be able to just go get something to drink,
Mm-hmm.
to have to deal with, what was you said, 100-degree weather while
Yeah.
they're painting too. Oh,
Yeah.
so
That's what we were doing. We were painting, and one time we were up on top of a mountain, and it was 100 degrees because there was a weather station right there. But it was the middle of June, and like we're taking, those big jugs of water that you see at the store. That's what we're using to pour over our bodies, and lots of wet wipes.
imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Well, and you did all, that was part of your mission trip there, or?
Yeah, that was the second mission trip we had. The first mission trip, you'll love this story, Josh. We were working with athletes from the Olympic Village there. It's called Albergue Olimpico, which is it's a boarding school for high school students, and they're training to be in the Olympics because the Puerto Ricans have their own Olympic team. Because even though they are American, they're not considered American.
Territory, yeah.
Yeah. So we would go there and we'd talk to the students, and then we'd watch them work out, train for taekwondo or ping pong or whatever it was that day. And so then on Thursday evening, we met with the students again. And so we went down with this leader from Athletes in Action, and he was going to tell his testimony. And so we're in this courtyard where the students, there was John Wick playing in the background. And it's this big open green space. So like some of the kids were watching movies, some of them were playing soccer, all that sort of stuff. Well, our leader was having his testimony talk, and he was going to have an altar call at the end. So he was telling his story, and he's like, these kids aren't paying attention. They're on their phones. They're talking to their friends. Like, this is going to go really badly. And so he led the altar call, and then afterwards, each of us all had Bibles, and he said, if you have given your life to Christ, come up and get a Bible. More than 70 kids gave their life to Christ that night.
That's awesome.
They were talking to their friends and on their phones because they were getting the translations. Like some of them didn't understand what he was saying, so they were trying to understand what he was saying.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It still gives me goosebumps whenever I talk about it.
Yeah, man, that had been something to experience to watch kid after kid after kid. I mean, was it like
well, no, we were mobbed. It wasn't like orderly. It was we were mobbed.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah. Yeah, we had to get more and more Bibles. Like we came back the next day, like, did you get a Bible? Did you get a Bible? So.
And you got to imagine that impact is going to last for generations.
Yeah.
Wow. I wonder. I mean, have you ever gotten to go back since then, or?
We went back another time. Well, so that was the first year we went, and then we went back 2 more times after Hurricanes Maria and Irma, because the first time was before Maria, but we never were with the students again. Some of the students I'm still friends with on Facebook, but otherwise, I don't know.
Yeah.
I see some of the things that they've posted, and some of them are like, you're not really, following the way, but that seed was planted at least.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can always, I mean, if they started out as a believer, you say it's like, hey, I see you over there. I love you, but because I love you, I want you to know that this is the wrong path.
Right. Yeah.
And man, so you've had some really, really fantastic experiences in your faith journey. Like, as you said, so Puerto Rico was just the one place. Did you say what was the others that you had been?
No, the other two it was all Puerto Rico.
All Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Okay. And those other experiences, those were more of like, was it more of like cleanup, or was it you got to actually interact and still talk to people about faith and things like that?
It was more of cleanup. So the first year was the Albergue Olympico. The second year, we helped clean up a church that was damaged in Maria. So we painted it and repaired a lot of things. There were certain people in our group that had other expertise, so they went off and did electrical work at different places and that sort of thing. Then the third year, we went back to the church to worship and visit everybody. So that was cool to like build those relationships, but it was, at a church. But then we got to go out and help more of the members of the community of, helping them rebuild and repair things.
So you got at least some personal time with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that could do just as much, because
right.
If you're, you're leading in that manner, showing your faith on your sleeve. I'm sure that probably caught on.
Right. Well, they did go back several years. Because the last time I went was 2019, and they went back probably starting in 2021 to 2024, 2025. I had left that church at that point, but they went back and were helping with Vacation Bible School at that church that we helped with the first time that we helped. So that relationship is still there.
That's good to hear. And you got a woohoo.
I know. I see that. Hi, Oki.
So is Oki from Oklahoma? Is that where that's from?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have.
At least he was. I don't think he lives there anymore, but.
We have somebody that rare occasion stops in on Morning Word and has Oki in their name and is also from Oklahoma. I had to ask that right away, and I was like, "I've been there,
done that, got the T-shirt."
Didn't get the T-shirt. I got a hat though. I did.
Oh, you got a hat.
I got the hat. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Let's see. Pryor is where I was working, and it's very flat.
Oh wow!
It's very like it's all like so. It didn't feel like it was going away from Indiana, other than the fact that there's just the grass is not there.
Well, Pryor was on the news yesterday for the storms.
Yeah, we're finally getting some rain there, because it never happens there. Usually only happens when my boss goes there. Like when him and I were working there, it's like we went there. It's like it's either rain or snow. It's like it's gonna. He's like that's what he told one of the ladies at one of the stores we were at before work. He's like, or after work one day. He's like, it's either gonna rain or snow while I'm here. Just be prepared. Weather always comes with him. The same thing happened when we were in Chattanooga, but there's like it's like long, big, sprawling landscapes of just flat. And there's nothing to stop the wind. So like all the wind is just, whew. So when they say, oh, Oklahoma, where the wind goes sweeping down the plains, it really, really does go sweeping down the plains. And there's nothing to stop.
Great musical.
Cause I know that we were working on a silo one time and so we're about 5 stories in the air and the wind is already pretty fast on the ground. It's probably 30 miles an hour on ground. So when we get up on a silo, it's
like
nothing
50.
stopping. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so I had a hard hat on and it flipped off my head and I had a hoodie on top of it, strings pulled, tied. Still flipped my hood off. And so I went and grabbed my hard hat and I looked at the boss. I was like, time to go? And he goes, yeah, pack up the tools.
Wow.
He's like, yeah, we're done for the day. We'll hit this tomorrow when it's not so windy. So then it rained and we were like, okay, one more day.
And then it snowed?
No, and then it was sunny.
Oh, then it was sunny.
It was sunny and like really beautiful. So we had that day up. Yeah, we got to be on top of the silo and yeah, it was nice.
Well, that's good. I mean, at least you didn't get blown off.
Yeah. Oh man. If one of them got blown off, then I know that I was in trouble because it's like, okay, I'm next because definitely had a few pounds on each of them. So one of them would get blown off first. So I was like, okay, I got some time.
Oh no, here I go.
Yeah, Oklahoma, very wonderful people. In my experience, at least in that part of Oklahoma. I don't know about the city. We didn't go into the city, but prior, definitely wonderful, wonderful people there. But
well, that's where Graw is from too.
Oh yeah. Also, the reddest state in the union, by the way.
That is very true. Yep.
And it's very apparent. We went to breakfast every morning, and the folks, you go in, you sit down at the diner, and yep.
Yep.
Fit in here.
I fit in here.
Okay, so we've been through some of your faith journey. We've what all have we covered here? We've covered some of your childhood places. So you mentioned quite a few different places of working. So HVAC kind of stuck out to me too, because I'm like, but what was it that you did working there?
I answered the phones. I scheduled the technicians. I had to deal with all the, very angry people. My air conditioning isn't working. It's 100 degrees in here. Open a window. That's what I wanted to tell them.
I understand that customer service got a cowtail, right?
Yep, exactly.
So was there any experiences while working in that place that really like this is something that really stuck out, a story that really stuck out, or was it just kind of it was just a good work environment? I mean, was there
it was a fun work environment. I'm still friends with a few of the people that I worked with because people make the place. Most of the people that I've worked with have left. It was a high turnover place, but they also sold their company to another company. So, but one of the things they did was they had a employee night at the Columbus Clippers, which is the minor league team here in Columbus. So we got to go there for free, and they had a whole food spread, and so we watched the game and had free food. So that was fun.
Oh, hey, that's all right.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Is there anything else that you would like to specifically like really hone in on, something that you'd really like to talk about, like something you're really passionate about that you just want to lean into conversation wise? Or
I mean, I think like the main thing that I think people would should take away is that, like never, don't squander your opportunities. Like if you have an opportunity to do something, do it. Whether it's, going up in a tall tower or meeting a certain person, or, if you have the opportunity to talk to somebody or do something in your life, do it. Don't let that opportunity go by, because you don't know when that opportunity would be able to happen again. Or don't squander those opportunities. Um, that's what I think people should take away, I think.
so it's your direct quote. Don't squander the opportunities.
Right. Don't squander the opportunities you have, because you don't know when you're going to have those opportunities again in your life.
That you don't want to look back and regret it, right?
Right. Like not being able to go up in the Twin Towers.
Mm. You're right. Yeah. That's a big missed opportunity there, for sure.
Right. Going to Mount St. Helens, or being able to drive across the Golden Gate Bridge, or talk to a certain person. I was thinking about this the other day. It's like when I was in the room with Obama, so many of my people in my group like shook his hand. It's like I didn't even want to at that point. And it's like, but now looking back, I'm like, it's Obama, but I mean, he was the president.
Yeah. Still an honor to meet the president of the United States. The office is still
Right.
something of respect. Yeah.
And then again, I have like my building was right beside the White House. And I remember a time when I walked out and he's leaving to go, I think it was on his West Coast trip, when he went to like I think Jay Leno was on at the time. I don't know. David Letterman, somebody like that. And I was like 3 feet away from him because he was in the Beast. So, I mean, those sort of opportunities I still had, but I didn't take that opportunity to shake his hand.
Yeah. It's those moments when I can imagine that, you have that, like, do I be quiet here? And I just go about like, let them know, like, I'm just going to go be a normal person over here. Or,
right.
or do I take the risk and say, like, hey, may I borrow you for a second, just to shake your hand and,
right.
meet you.
Yep. Do I take that opportunity? And always take that opportunity. That would be the road less traveled.
I can appreciate that. Yeah. I think a lot of young people need to hear that.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, older folks too, of course, but like the young people, because there's, what is it? It's a whole world ahead of them, right?
Yeah.
And and like you said, those opportunities, they're not always going to be there.
Right.
You got to take them
they love that instant gratification. I know girl will love that phrase. But that kids have nowadays, and then they want that, that right now, that high feeling. And it's, you have to build that up. You need that mountaintop experience that people will have, and you have to have that you have to build the communication skills up to be able to do that, and then be able to talk to somebody and hold a conversation. And that is what so many people are losing nowadays.
Yeah, social skills are lost on the younger generation for sure. They do this.
Yeah, put down your phone and actually talk to somebody, and have that actual communication, that face-to-face communication, because that's what's being lost. Have that opportunity. Yeah.
And I think that's why podcasts are so big amongst millennials specifically, but I think that's why podcasts have become so mainstream, is because it's like, oh, that's how you do that.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
But I think it also it comes to like you know, before there were books, before we could write,
Mhm.
there was oral tradition.
Right.
And I think that we may have gone full circle.
Oh yeah.
I think it was like we went oral tradition, books, and then now that we have podcasts and the ability to do that, we're back to oral tradition.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we are. It's it's a different way of telling a story because I couldn't remember. I mean, there was nobody to write it down, so you'd have that oral tradition, and now we can write it down and watch it. So.
And so, I guess we're getting to that point where I think maybe kind of feels like conversation maybe winding down and things like that, right? But so that being said, with as far as like writing a book with the oral tradition, if we were to encapsulate Hope Arising's book of what you would write and say, okay, this is the title of my book, what would you say? What would you say? I mean, because your quote was don't squander those moments.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be the title of Hope Arising's book that you would write?
I'm thinking.
It's a big question.
I wasn't thinking I was going to title my autobiography tonight, Josh. I think maybe intrepid determination.
Intrepid determination. I like it. I really like it. I really like it.
I just came up with that on the fly.
I think that'd be a great way. So yes, you guys make sure that you guys are heading over to YouTube if you haven't already. If you're already on YouTube, make sure that you're following Hope Arising. All right. Subscribe. Actually, I think it's because YouTube subscribe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Make sure that you're hitting the like button on all of our videos. Commenting, sharing. And just showing her some love, right? So the intrepid determination.
There you go.
Yeah. Intrepid determination. So yeah, so make sure that you're showing her some love in her intrepid determination, and I'll love to have you back anytime you like. Maybe there's something big you want to talk about, and you really want to dig into a subject or anything like that. Make sure and let me know. This is an open invitation also for viewers and listeners. I plan on trying to schedule as many people who want to just come and hang out, and I wanted to spotlight you as an individual. So I know that I've gotten quite a few people that I've already reached out to. So just like this young lady right here, we want to get to spotlight you and whatever book you're writing. So be thinking about your title. I put her on the spot.
Everybody else gets to think about their title, not me.
Yeah. the guinea pig, but yeah, you did a great job, and thank you for joining me. And I'll say, folks,
thank you for having me.
Yeah, so you're a wonderful guest.
And if you would ever want to talk about history, you can always let me know. I'll always talk about history.
Always down to talk about history. Bring the books, bring the information, and let's lean into it.
I have a lot of books. I used to work at a book distributor.
Let's do it. We'll put it on the books. I'll tell you that.
Oh, okay. We'll put it on the books.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you, like I said, make sure you subscribe to Hope Arising on YouTube. Make sure you go to revolverbroadcasting.com and check us out. And have a lovely, lovely weekend. Bye, y'all.